minutes, because I've been working with kids ever since after lockdown.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them have taken 2 years to actually be able to focus for more than 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Look at that.
Because during lockdown, you couldn't do it.
True.
Isolated.
Very true. And, I think we're only beginning to see the ripple effects of COVID now, after obviously things settle and after being locked down and so isolated, and then realizing how it has actually affected very important integral parts of development when it comes to our little ones. Now, Jenny, at what age would you say that a parent should actually become concerned about their child's development of these skills?
I can only answer because I've got a Montessori. 20 years ago, I started Magic Mushroom Montessori preschool and creche, and we trained staff. And our little booklets, I've been digging them off the discs of our training back then. We started right from birth to 3 years. As the child goes through from birth, there are exercises, there are simulating games. Mothers have very close contact with their children. And right from the beginning, reading is not the thing. The first thing a child does is use maths. A baby calculates how loud it's going to scream for mother's attention. Calculating is maths.
True. He's going to come in my first scream, my second scream.
And if I want something, how far do I have to crawl? And is anybody looking? They're using maths. They're not using reading at all. And much till after toilet training.
Right.
After toilet training, but by then they've already got an idea of order. They've got an idea of their independence. Toilet training is their last step of getting the body independent of the adults, needing adults around, and their coordination. Then they start speaking, which is your mother tongue. Mothers teaches the child to speak.
Absolutely.
And towards 4 or 5, you can see whether your child is needing any stimulation. But I don't think so at that point.
Yes.
If they've been allowed to move naturally. Now, during COVID and lockdown and that, we couldn't. We were, prevented from doing sport, prevented from mixing. We had to be a meter away from everybody, and all. You
True.
remember all.
Yeah, we still see the markings if you step into a lift or you go to a mall. It's still there.
No, that is 4 years ago.
Indeed.
That we were locked down, and the children that are affected are the 7, 8, 9-year-olds now. That were young and in the baby age 4 years ago. They are the ones who've developed very strange habits. If you come into a classroom at 7 and sit in a chair, they go right down as if they're on a couch. They slouch into couch mode at their desk.
Right.
And
because they haven't had that, because their class was actually obviously the screen, and however they sat facing that, so already they conditioned and their little bodies are programmed to that. Let's talk about digital devices now. How did digital devices and social media replace the development of these core executive function skills during lockdown, and still do so currently?
A video on TikTok where a 2-year-old was having a tantrum because she wanted her tablet put on.
Yeah. I think we've seen that one,
That's become the means of communication.
Yeah.
The children are silent. They want the game on the phone, and their thumbs develop.
True.
The rest of them, they're in a slouch position, wearing glasses with their long thumbs. It is convenient, but no, it's not helping anybody to read.
Absolutely.
What hasn't happened is, if they didn't go through the actual milestones of development, as we call them in Montessori,
Mm-hmm.
actually develop and get strong bodies, they're in this terrible slouchy position,
Mm-hmm.
hunched over and with long thumbs.
Mm-hmm.
And it's as if we've got a new breed of child coming through.
Absolutely. So, obviously this leads to challenges now. So what would you say? What challenges and changes the parents and child mind is facing with young children who have not developed these core executive function skills?
At the moment, I can talk about what goes on in the project that I'm running.
Uh-huh.
The children don't communicate. They actually don't know how to communicate. Their physical development is very, very weak. Sense of balance, focusing. Most of them are wearing glasses.
Correct.
That comes, I've never had 25% of my class needing spectacles
Wow.
to see what they're looking at.
Mm-hmm.
So the other thing is they're very insecure socially.
Uh-huh.
They don't talk to each other. They just walk up to each other and snatch things.
Mm-hmm. Look at that.
And,
because they can't communicate what they want as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's become a totally different scene to what teachers are used to in the classroom.
Mm-hmm. Adjustment for teachers too. I was invited to a school as well to speak to the children of grade 5 because the principal had noticed that they had self-confidence issues, that many didn't want to remove the mask, after COVID and all of those issues that start. So hearing you say this also just reaffirms that even with the little ones, it's so difficult for them. So Jenny, how can parents actually avoid the problem now of this digital devices that are so handy, in keeping our child occupied and out of our hair, so to say?
How can they keep them out of you?
Take this device and keep quiet now.
It is very easy to give the child the cell phone, and most kids, no matter how young they are, can play on the cell phones.
True.
So we've got to actually relook at our schedule with children and how we reward actions and set a time aside. What I've done in the classroom is put a cyber corner.
Okay.
And after snack, you may have 10 minutes in the cyber corner if you've brought your cell phone to school.
Wow. Look at that, huh? Kids bringing cell phones to school. We are really different, living in a different time.
Cell phone waits. but you actually
have reward.
7-year-olds pull the cell phone out of their bag and head to cyber corner.
Wow.
And look, it's part of life.
It is.
The danger is that all these influences now, when you have centers with free Wi-Fi and that sort of thing, parents have to start educating, and teachers as well. You have to start educating children about social media and the kind of dangers on that you can encounter on things like WhatsApp, people stalking and that type of thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So we actually have to add all this to our curriculum.
That is so important because, I think with this little device now that is so accessible to our children from such a young age, as you affirmed as well, is that it kind of makes the world very small. So anybody can reach them and they're exposed to so much. But thank you so much, Jenny, for shedding light on this and telling us that learning to read is not the problem, and also identifying the very important core aspects that are. It's been wonderful chatting with you. We do hope you have a lovely day further and do enjoy, what is that corner again? Cyber corner, hey?
Cyber corner.
Cyber. I think everybody at home now will develop a cyber corner. Have your veggies and then you can go to the cyber corner. Thank you so much, Jenny. You have yourself a lovely day further. Bye for now.
Bye.
And that was Jenny Du Preez chatting to us about learning to read is not the problem and what the actual problem actually is or are. Now, if you've got a child age 7, 8, 9, what are you observing with them? post-COVID? What are you observing about their development compared to if you perhaps have other older kids? What's different? So it is true. It's the thumbs that actually are so developed. And, we get so proud of them because they can do so many things on the phone. But in the long run, there's so many other aspects and core functions that need to be developed, as Jenny has said. So important. Remember, have a schedule with your child. Be present with them, give them that cyberspace, and have a reward system, and everything in balance is so important. Let's go for a break, and then it's the 11 a.m. news. I'm your host, Razia Rangwich, an urban woman. I'll be back with you after. Stay tuned.
Shimmer, sparkle, captivate. Nothing less than a masterpiece. Droplets of gold inspires precious design. Platinum bursts with intricate freshness. And every pure diamond becomes more than just a girl's best friend. Voda Gold Gem Jewelers, where timeless dreams become